If I was in a tournament, I'd be like, and I have played in like a couple of casual tournaments over the years, and every time it comes to vetoes, I'm like, what should I veto? I don't know what's good or not.
These are maps you play all the time.
Yep. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at remembering the names and stuff, though. I'm just like, oh yeah, this one. Anyway,
I don't know win-loss ratio for Protoss versus Terran on this map.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the upper left, representing Team Liquid, it's Cure.
And in the bottom left, it's our dude Shin, formerly known as Ragnarok. He had a bit of a moment about 6 or 7 months ago, I want to say, where he was playing like an absolute monster. And I'm curious to see if we get that version of him here today. Right?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Aggressively swarming nonstop aggression into tier 3 stuff. It was so crazy to see.
I
don't know if I've seen it in a while.
Yeah, I was even on like the Ragnarok hype train in it, or the Shin hype train, and I was one of his like biggest doubters for a long time.
Yeah, totally.
Because like he was known to be a very all-in-y one-trick pony player, but he's really, really grown a lot.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, because, yeah, it's one thing to be aggressive and then have no kind of follow-up if it fails. That's, like, kind of the first step for a lot of StarCraft players is, like, I have this build. If it wins, it wins. And if it doesn't win, I lose because I don't expand or anything behind it. But it's another thing to figure out expansion timing behind the aggression so that you can follow up, knowing when to pull back an attack, knowing when to take another base instead of go for another attack, especially a Zerg. It's so important. So Shin figuring that out is really encouraging to see.
Yes, it definitely is. And Kier is going to be a great test for him here today because Kier is like the bread and butter of Terran. If he's not 2 racks in you, he's playing 3cc bio opening.
Pretty standard stuff. Nothing too crazy that way at all. See when Shin takes his third, probably wants to get in around 230, but Reaper denial of third base. I've been talking about it for years.
Yeah.
Don't need to if the SCV's doing it, though.
Oh, pardon me. I guess I turned off the sound for a moment.
There we go.
Took till the Reaper started firing that I was like, this is oddly quiet. Yeah.
Clean timing. There we go.
You are right to point out that third base delay by the Terran. It's something that just Kier does, is go for the SCV timing so that his SCV skill, like it's not the earliest in the world, but it does allow him to block the Zerg's third. And that's something that Kier does quite consistently. And look at that, the grenade, he's got this timed out perfectly, so he can just keep trying to deny that base a little bit longer. We'll see if he blocks it again. Yes, he does. Forces that drone back. He wants to... Well, if he doesn't kill it, he wants to be able to buy enough time so he can throw down another grenade. And, oh, he almost gets it.
Would have been awesome. The delay's good enough. Basically gets it down at 3 minutes instead of the 230, 240 he wanted. So this is looking good from Cure. Man, that third CC's on the way as you predicted. We've got Hellions coming in. Starport here, too. Could be Banshees. Banshees are pretty popular in this matchup. Could just be for those Medivacs instead. Or Liberators. I mean, a lot of good options from that Starport in this matchup for sure.
Yeah. And look at that. 3cc Hellions.
All right. Let's see how we deal with this from Shin's perspective. Lings and Queens. He's got Metabolic Boost. We have seen some Zerg players recently that are like, you know what? Let's not get Metabolic Boost for a while. We'll try to deal with these Hellions with Queens and Slowlings, and it doesn't work particularly well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. I've seen it work a couple times, but for the most part, it's pretty tough for the Zerg.
It can work. Shin notably is mining more gas as well. So he's got 6 workers on gas right now, getting up a lair. So is it going to be like a Spire or something from the Zerg, maybe?
I know, right? What's he doing?
Like, I think that's the way it's heading at this point. So what else is that lair for? Unless it's going to be like a Nidus, Queen Nidus or something.
Like Queen Nidus kind of a thing. Could be interesting.
Oh, it's Dropper Lords. Okay, I should have clued into that with the pneumatized Carapace.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that upgrade started a couple seconds ago here, too.
Okay, Dropper Lords for the Queens. And then Lings just to flood the Terran and hit Cure as hard and as early as possible. Unfortunately for Shin. Kier has invested in 8 Hellions, which is more than normal for the Terran, so it's going to give the Lings a very difficult time. Now, the Queens can help deal with those Hellions and zone them out. The Terran, meanwhile, is on the wrong side of the map, too, so it could make life quite difficult. And look at the Lings. They go through the speed zone. Whee!
But the third base is pretty well undefended down there. One queen, but enough the Hellions are heading back home anyway. Maybe he got a glimpse of what's going on.
Yeah, Kier's clued into this now as he fires up 2 bunkers. I'm not sure it's going to be in time, though, as the first of the Dropper Lords are going to get into the main, get on top of the production. Lings, all of a sudden, are in the base, although now they're running out because Kier elects to go for a counter dive with the Hellions, but he's not microing those, so that is very risky. Queens now, they do fail to... Yeah. Well, I mean, there's an Overseer with this, too, but...
Okay.
Dropper Lords hadn't dropped creep, so there's only 2 queens to be anti-air for the Zerg right now, and SCVs are getting a beautiful surround on them.
They are, but 16 of them have gone down so far, which is brutal stuff. Banshee's covering the front a little bit. Transfuse on a Dropper Lord, dropping him behind this mineral line. Link's trying to find an angle. Getting into the third base would be fine as well. Focus the Banshees. Ooh, he dodged that Banshee attack with a lift off on that queen. That was sick. More SCVs dying at the third base. Back into the main base we go. Unloading is just asking these Banshees to kill everything. Nice surround on the bunker. Liberator is not going to save it. The repair not going to save it either. I don't think
Oh my gosh.
the bunker just barely. But every Ling is going to die. No, some of them actually get out of there. But 20 SCVs down. The harassment. The Overlords are dying. And Kier holds it and gets the win.
Really, really well done by Kier there. Reacting appropriately, getting those 2 queens at the start of that before the creep was dropped so they could transfuse, because you have to drop creep if you want to go for that these days, guys.
Right. Yeah, the transfuse not being available during a situation like that is really, really dicey, and it was a little late to that party, so tough look. Great build, though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Definitely a cool way to open up the series.
Mm-hmm. All right. We are going to hop on in here to lay lines for game number 2 of our series. Let's see if Shin is as aggressive here as he was in game number 1. It's still, Zerg have a lot of options to be aggressive. Could be a Roach Ravager push. Could be some kind of a Nidus thing like you talked about in game 1. So we'll see. Or if he just wants to kind of play back maybe some macro style while we're at it.
I like how we have someone in chat called Zergling Rush as well.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Very fitting for what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you guys are just tuning into the stream, make sure to click that like button, leave a follow the channel. I think it's called subscribing here on Soup. Not like a Twitch sub, like a YouTube sub.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, as we do these events every 2 weeks, and we'll probably be back in 2 weeks, so it's a great way to get your dose of StarCraft 2 on a Saturday night.
Absolutely. Is my mouse freaking out? What is going on?
All right, in the top right, it is Liquid Cure. Is your mouse a Razer product? If so, then probably yes.
Ha! It is not. It is a Logitech mouse. And in the bottom left, it is Shin.
Yeah, very solid opening by Cure. Oh, okay. Apologies, Aki. Okay, follow the channel then.
Noted.
Well, that's something we need to
this out.
standardize across the industry.
Concur. But not going to happen. They want to differentiate themselves from each other way too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a, like, because, like, as far as, like, the YouTube member thing goes, it's like, I feel like you talk about that and no one has an idea of what that is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some people do, but the majority definitely don't have any idea what's going on there. Agreed. Despite seeing more YouTubers talk about it, so I don't know. Maybe one day it'll get into the collective consciousness, but it's taken a while for sure.
Okay. Leylines is a map with rich Vespine geysers. We'll see if that gets taken in this game. Kira goes for his oddly timed SCV move out. Make sure he's not getting Ling rushed, but then also has the nice function of just preventing the Zerg sneaking out a drone for an expo. While the Reaper rolls on up in order to ensure a block on that.
All right, Shin, let's see how the third base does here. Again, it was late last game. Reaper's like, how about we make this as hard as possible? Have to slow walk a queen over here to shut it down. And it's going to get KD8 charged back. Ugh.
Yes, a very big nuisance.
Have a drone?
No, there's actually no expo getting thrown up yet. Kier's like, where's your drone, man? Where's you're not holding up your end of the bargain. There it is, just a little later for...
Well, and Kier doesn't see it, too, which is interesting. Maybe Kier thinks this is a two-baser. And that Shin is just fainting going for a
he
third.
does
He's
check.
Gonna come back around and... Yeah, he's going to come back. I think he's going to see it, because Reapers are, you know, if nothing other than incredible scouting units.
It's one of those things. It's like, when's the last time you saw a Zerg go true two-base? When's the last time you saw a Protoss go for a true one-base all-in? It's not something that happens in this meta anymore.
Never, never, never. Okay, so he knows about the third base. He goes home, says, all right, it's not something insane, at least. My third CC is fine.
Terran's third gonna finish before the Zerg's third. That's just so crazy how quick.
It's a bad time.
Kira gets that up.
Cloak Banshee, again, it helped him a lot. Did they kill one of their own?
No, I think it was a rock. But maybe they did.
Blood?
Yeah, there is an odd amount of lings. Shin did accidentally kill one of his own lings, I think.
What the?
You're right about that. Cannibal lings, man.
And they're pretty brainless. I imagine that happens sometimes if they're not being directly controlled. I think that's the lore. Like, Zerg without direct control of mind or whatever are just kind of eating each other all the time.
Yeah, they're like mindless beasts. Should read some more Starcraft lore.
There's some good stuff out there. There's some, like, poorly written stuff, too, but I mean, that's the nature of fandoms, I guess.
Yep. Seven Hellions out for Cure. So he's not been cutting those at all today. Which makes sense against a Ling-heavy player like Shin. He grabs one drone. There's a Queen in position to kind of block some of these Hellions. However, now Lings have to come in, and they split as they do. It's 8 dead drones so far, but 8 drones for 7 Hellions isn't horrible.
No, that's acceptable for the Zerg, without a doubt. Getting a 4th base behind it. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the YOLO Hellion.
Yeah, well, not for that return, because now, anyway, Shin has got a license to drone, and he's doing just that. Something that I also really want to comment on that's just, like, such a little thing, but also so big. Shin, like, immediately threw up that hatchery to get his 4th base started in the other location upon that drone dying, despite Hellions coming into his 3rd base. I don't know how the timings worked out for that, but the fact that that wasn't, like, delayed, or he didn't wait to start up the 4th until those Hellions were fully cleaned up is big. Like, it's little things like that that really add up.
Yeah, 100%. A lower level Zerg player panics there, doesn't get the 4th base down. They totally screw up their build. But yeah, Shin's on top of it, and that's what we like to see. Double expanding.
Yeah, I really, really like that. Spreading tons of creep, too. This is looking like a much better opening for the Zerg. He should be in a position to receive anything that Cure throws at him.
Cloak Banshees are trying to clear down tumors, whittle away on hatcheries a little bit.
That was a good amount of tumors that got killed off there. Shin's lair is very, very delayed. So that is maybe one thing that suffered with this timing. But if he starts
repositioning the spores is big.
Yeah. I would like to see a spore at every base if possible.
Yeah, just one. Makes a huge difference. Maybe even He's just not making a spore here. He's just waiting
Yeah.
on those overseers. So
Okay, in comes
Ooh.
Cure, now going to be pushing towards the 5th base of Shin.
yeah, it feels bad when this happens and you have slow banelings because you're like, man, if these are speed banelings, I'd feel much better about this. But here we go, charge it in. Creep Tumor's getting sniped out. This hatch in trouble now too. Ling's running back home. Banelings slow on creep. Good, nice pick off on that Overlord. Hydro this down on the way. Again, Shin under attack, not forgetting about his further attack. The Lings go for it. Just enough,
then
maybe?
he backs out. That's not the kind of move you want to make, committing in, losing Lings, then just retreating anyway.
No.
He does
but
have
he
enough.
does clear it out anyway, and doesn't lose any banelings ineffectually either. That's nice.
Yeah, keeping the hatches nice. Shin's going to want to spread creep away from that 5th base again as soon as possible. His Bane speed is now done. He's also got Burrow too, so that's very cool to see. And looks like Kira is coming back on in towards this 5th. Lings are in position in order to try and shut this down, and they do.
Yeah, so far so good.
Instant transfuse as well by Shin upon seeing those Marines, so I really love what he's doing here.
Speed banelings getting some, you know, feeling better about that now for sure. One of them gets wiped out by a siege tank, but otherwise doing okay. The creep slowly getting pushed closer back to the hatch is really nice from Cure.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping that we would have seen at least like 1 or 2 new tumors get put down, but that did not happen. So Shin will have to commit to try and save this hatchery once again. He is going to get on top of all of these. He's got Hydras, so the Medivacs really have to retreat now. Kier, though, not one to just hit one location, is now going towards the other 4th base of Shin. And that is actually a really great opportunity for the Terran. A Baneling rolls on in, but it's... Oh, it does get a connection, and it actually saves the base.
Yeah, nice pullback there. More Marines would have died to that Widow Mine if not for the micro by Cure. That was pretty sick, but Hydras are out. Working on the range upgrade, working on a Carapace upgrade here too. And 85 workers from Shin. I mean, losing one of these hatchers would have been disastrous, but he's able to hang on to it so far.
Oh,
although
yeah.
another attack coming down there could cause some major problems.
Yeah, he's barely hanging on to them, but he is hanging on to them. Where are his queens? I guess he's just got all his queens on injection duty. I'm a little surprised not to see them on the front, either transfusing these hatcheries or spreading out more creep. I think he definitely should be committing to that. Oh, there was a Baneling landmine there. Pardon my observing. That must have got at least a few kills there.
Yeah, I mean, hard to say, but at least a few, certainly. Here,
Oh, man.
Go for it anyway. I mean, Cure didn't lose everything, or we just would have probably given up. Nice trigger on that Widowmine with 1 Zergling. There are more. Oh, gosh. Good split.
Man.
Great.
That is a lot of Zerg.
Hit. It is, even with a couple good Widowmine hits there. It doesn't matter. Burrowing in the Widowmines, trying to get a connection there. I don't know. This Planetary is busted. Trying to fight at it. Trying to get around the backside. And Planetary down. Reinforcing units. Taking Banelings right to the face here. Liberators trying to stop Ling Bane Hydra. Not exactly what they're built for here. And Cure's just getting rolled right now.
Yeah, the Banelings acting as a magic eraser, killing everything in their path. Now, Shin did commit quite heavily there, so he is on the back foot, having to produce as many units as he can. So he does have 30 Lings on the way. He's making 12 Banelings, but Cure is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from this base, but there does seem to be enough Zerg to give the Terran a moment's pause. Supply in cases like this is a bit misleading, as the Zerg's production rallies up a little bit quicker and Terran's has to go all the way across the map.
Yeah, Baneling's trying to get connections here again. Widowmine's trying to help with those. Baneling's off creep getting connections. That's how you know you're doing pretty well. But Liberators causes problems. Once the Banelings are gone, the Hydras on their own don't want to fight. With Ling support, yes. Tanking a little bit here. Marauders getting wiped out and sniping out Liberators in the sky. Medivacs left. Retreating so far. 83 workers. GG. Yeah,
nicely done.
Way too good. And he pulls off the win in game number 2 to tie it up. Yo. Oh, impressive stuff. Way to go, Shin. Just getting that economy up. Army value huge. Worker advantage massive. Economy crushing it. And yeah, he probably should have respread that creep. Maybe transfuse that hatch a little bit, but he never ended up losing it. He played on the edge. Made sure he had his injects more than he had the creep tumors or the transfuses, and it paid off for him in the end. Nicely done. Hydra Ling Bane is so good against this whole Marine Marauder, Medivac, Liberator, Widowmine style. That is so standard for Terran and has been for such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, Kier just, well, I mean, Shin just did a really great job keeping those bases alive so he could be in such a good position, and yeah, really, really well done.
Yeah, just fantastic counterattack. Like, highly, highly impressive. So, we're on Maganatha, which is not Jagannatha. It is the spiritual successor to it, in honor of an Egyptian caster, apparently.
Like an Egyptian Starcraft caster? Or?
That's, I mean, I think that's what it says. Egyptian StarCraft 2 caster.
Huh. Very cool.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. Bottom right of Maganatha. He's tied it up 1-1. It's Shin.
And in the upper left, it's Kier. These two fighting for the right to go play against Hero in the finals, which is a daunting prospect, but one thing at a time.
Honor.
I was really hoping to get Rogue and Hero in the same event, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So maybe the next one.
Yeah. Maybe so. Yeah, Rogue's been here more than once, certainly.
Because anytime we have one of these events, it's like Rogue just crushes everyone. It's like, all right, we got to get someone who can beat Rogue. Who's that? It's Hero. Then we get Hero, and there's no Rogue to beat him, so it's like, okay, who beats Hero? It's always trying to find a bigger fish.
Right. Right. Just, yes, certainly.
Yeah, not that these guys are infallible or anything, but in this format, like a best of 5, like it's pretty difficult to bring down Hero, and then in like a best of 7, it's even more difficult. So
yeah, definitely. It gets tougher all the time.
Yeah, click that like button if you guys haven't already. If you're watching on YouTube or on later or on Soup, make sure to check out Falcon and my own channels. We both put up StarCraft content every day on YouTube, and then we're here on Soup every 2 weeks, so follow the channel if you haven't already.
All right, Reaper Man, a lot's on your shoulders. You got to scout. You got to try to kill Lings. Ooh, 214, third from Shane.
Yeah, the drone actually snuck out there.
Which means the Queen's a little bit later than normal, which means this dance will happen a little bit longer than usual, but nothing too crazy. It wasn't that fast of a third. We've seen sub 2-minute third bases where the Queens are not even close to done when the Reaper shows up, and you're like, oh. This is kind of just right in the middle of the road here.
Yeah, I saw Lambo did speed mining to try and get down the fastest possible third base, just by microing the drones as much as possible. Reaper jumps up the cliff. Queens and Lings are waiting, so that Reaper gets on out of there. But look at that, third command center on the way from Cure.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I say this every time. There's nothing the Zerg player can do to punish it, really. I mean, if they go for some kind of a 2.5 saturated base Roach Hydra, Roach Ravager style push, then yeah, maybe you regret getting that third base as early as you did, but there's nothing else that can really shut it down.
Nope. The correct way for Zerg to handle it is like what Shin did in the last game. Just macro up yourself, keep your bases alive, kill the Hellions. Okay, Hellions and Reaper are coming in to potentially try and grab a drone or bully a Queen.
And Cloak Banshee again. Okay. This is 3 straight games he's gone for Cloak Banshees.
Yeah. I guess he just likes to open his standard way.
I mean, if you can control them well enough, they're really good, and I'm sure Cure just has the highest of opinions on his own control, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, that's one of the things that seems to be happening in the meta lately as the game gets more and more refined and the players get better and better, is like players do not lose units nearly as much as they used to. So like those Banshees, they will stay alive for the whole game if Kier feels like putting in the effort.
Yeah, pretty insane.
Nice little move out to catch an Overlord.
Yeah, a couple Marines, not investing too much here. But yeah, I mean, if you ever try to use Banshees yourself, you know how darn squishy they are. They die so fast. So keeping them alive for the whole game when there are Queens and Spores and maybe Mutalisks flying around is just dead impressive.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Because like, I can speak from experience trying to micro a Banshee against Spore Crawlers. It's like, oh, I'll go in, I'll kill like a couple drones, but then my Banshee will go down to the red, and I'll be like, well, this is useless now.
Hooray, 2 drones.
Shin, once again, going for this Ling-heavy style, has his 4th base on the way up already, spreading creep all over the map. That creep spread is so important to buy time. Notably going to the north, Banshees do get 4 drones.
Yeah, he's finding damage with these Banshees.
Yeah, that's a nice little bit of damage. That could make his timing attack hit just a little bit harder. Notably, the Terran did cut a couple of Hellions this game. I think he went for 7 in the previous match. This game, so he cut 1 Hellion. But he's also notably not suiciding them in, so keeping them alive.
Yeah, this time. Keeping him out on the map. Hydroden coming in at about 6.5 minutes. Hydroling Bane, definitely the strategy here from Shin. And spreading that creep. Repairing the Banshees. He does. I think he pulled some. Yep, he pulled some SCVs to repair the Banshees. Good
nice,
commander.
Nice. Lings almost get a wraparound on the Hellions, but Kira is paying attention, so well done by the Terran for that.
Yeah, I don't want to follow on to creep, though. No, sir. So here comes the push. 7-minute timing attack. Out of Cure. Let's go.
Yeah, Kira will have to push back some creep prior to making this attack happen, which is going to delay things a little bit. Shin is actually just going to pull the trigger right away.
Oh, man. Yeah, crushes it. Siege Tank takes a second to guide, trying to unload individual Marines to die to these Banelings, which is a good trade. But wow, not even close.
Oh, man.
Shin is on fire right now.
Yeah, the prospect of the Zerg getting away with the 4th and the 5th base, no real pressure or damage being done, is quite scary for the Terran. It makes me wonder if we're going to see Kier slow things down and say build a 4th base, but he seems to have no intention of that. He's just getting up, 2-2 upgrades on the way, producing a ton of Marines and tanks at the same time.
Lings and Banes not on creep. Not feeling good about this. Creep spread, pretty good. We'll see how good Cure does at clearing it out, which is, again, a priority. Nice pick up and way to get out of there. Nicely done. But it's 81 workers from Shin. He's looking all right.
Yeah.
Cure does not bothering with Widow Mines in this game. He's not.
No.
So he invested pretty heavily previously, but this time it's just all that money, gas going to siege tanks instead.
Yeah, tanks and mass Marines. He's going to need one heck of an engagement against Shin, whether it be a long, prolonged push by stepping on creep then stepping off, or whether it's going to be a quicker push forward. The Zerg does have to be careful about this engagement, though.
Yeah, he's got 34 Lings in production right now. He's basically going to be maxed out on Hydroling Bane. 2-2 is not going to be a part of this engagement for anybody unless this takes a couple minutes to get started. I think we're going to see this engagement with 1-1 across the board here. More Banelings getting fired in. Shin's got his maxed out comp of choice.
Yeah.
Cure dive bombs in, picks off a queen. He's like, hey, come get me. I'm killing your hatch.
Okay, so like, there's the fight.
Yeah, charging right on in from all different angles here. Really nicely stuff. Getting some nice Baneling connections on the left side. Right side not going quite as well for the Zerg player. And got to fall back. That was actually fairly disastrous on the right side.
Oh, and then
Gotta win
morphing
all
the
angles
banelings
there.
too close to the front.
Yeah, Hydra is trying to buy time for those banelings to finish morphing in. That's not going to happen, though. And it looks like that's probably just going to be a GG here from Shin. Can he hold it? Reinforcing links coming out, sniping off siege tanks. Hydra's getting transfused to survive another couple extra seconds here. More lings rolling out. That +2 attack kicks in.
Oh, it's
The
so
+2
close.
Everybody's on +2 now, though. The Queen's really trying to hold, but getting hit by Banshees. The transfuses are not happening. 82 to 32 supply. This hatch is dead.
GG.
Yer. Woo.
Holy
the
cow.
7-minute attack turned into a, we finished it off at 10, but by golly, yeah, if you're going to go for that and the Terran is pre-split like he is, you'd better win every aspect of that battle. The left side went well, the right side went poorly for Shin. Too many Marines survived that engagement, and he rode those Marines to the end there. So nicely done. Yeah, no Widow Mines. Who needs Widow Mines, it turns out? Not Cure. Not in this TVZ.
Apparently not. That's a little heartbreaking for Shin. He was so close to making the hold happen. But that's just how good and confident Kier is with those pushes. He's like, 12 Marines at a time, 1 tank, let's go for it. And then you just spring the trap on the Zerg, forcing their hand.
Yeah, pretty darn effective. Ice asks, who killed the rocks on the left side? I'm guessing it was the Terran. I don't see.
Yeah, it could have
Zerg
just been
killing any
banelings
rocks.
exploding against them. I know they were damaged
Ugh.
just by banelings during the first fight.
Oh,
but-
really? Was he exploding banelings on rocks?
Well, no, like just by being beside the rocks, like they took damage.
okay.
So
Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, we're on Torches. It's a newer map. This is the second game we've ever cast on it, so that's exciting.
beautiful splash screen for this map.
It is. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Is that unique art? Did the creator draw that? Who knows?
All right, here we are in the top right with the 2-1 lead. It's Kier.
And in the bottom right, same side spawn, extractor tricking, it's Shin. So yeah, kind of a weirder map. Got these mineral walls to mine through to access. He called this a semi-island base. But it looks accessible. Like, I don't know what he's talking about when he calls it a...
Well, I guess it's just that you have to
Unless-
take some action to get in there.
Yeah. Okay, so early on it's kind of... It's walled off by
Mhm.
the debris that's going to die, but then it's way open later.
Yeah, I'm curious if we are going to see the Zerg potentially expand that way, maybe the Terran, as you don't usually want to leave like open areas for the Terran to abuse.
Right.
So like the Zerg, you probably want to open it up, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ice says on Maganatha you can knock down the towers onto the rocks. Or the rocks onto the towers, right? No, he says you can knock down the towers onto the... Is that what you meant? Did you mean... I think you probably meant knock the rocks onto the towers, not the towers onto the rocks, Ice Chingu. But maybe. Anywho. What's going on, guys? Hope you're enjoying the StarCraft here. Again, tap that like button if you are. SCV scouting out here from Cure. We'll see the third base timing from Shin. It does seem like the earlier third is better for him, and he
Yep.
does take the third over here. Good man.
Kier, maybe not being 100% familiar with this map, is like, oh, I'll go block this one. And Shin's like, okay, you do that. I wonder if we're going to see roaches out of Shin this game.
I hope not. Falcon is a professional roach hater.
We got to get you a shirt that's like, that's just like roaches with like, you know, like the red circle and line drawn through
Yeah.
it. Like, no roaches.
Yeah. Yeah, no roaches. Falcon hates roaches. They're just slow and they die too fast, and their DPS is kind of garbage. There's nothing about them that I like. Interesting. Cure maybe gonna move into this right side of the map as well. Sure looks
Yeah,
like he
I
wants
like
to.
that. Building the CC nice and low. This is, I mean, Shin sees this too.
Yeah, yeah.
Kier's like, try me. I dare you. Which he may live to regret as Shin does go for a Roach Warren.
Yeah, yep, I get it. I think we're on the same page. And Joel Ming says, I will not stand for the slander against Dark, the world's #1 roach boy. Look, man, if Dark wants to make roaches, I'll allow it.
Is
but
Dark
no,
the
I don't
roach
feel
boy?
good about anybody else.
Or is Rogue
Ooh.
the Roach boy?
Well, that's the thing. All the high-level Zerg players like him a lot.
It depends who they're playing and what day of the week it is and what position the moon is in, whether roaches are good or not. Kier taking his hatred out on the rocks. They die by themselves, but they do not die fast enough for his liking, apparently. And Shin sees that Kier is mining out this wall. Like, a part of me wonders if Shin can just go for, like, a roach bush.
Somicron says, apparently the word suck is on the ban list. If you say roaches suck, it might ban you.
Oh my gosh. I will.
Somicron is trying to say that if the DPS sucks, he must be talking about ultras, but then it wouldn't let him say it.
I will make a note about that.
Okay. That's funny.
Things shouldn't be banned on the internet anywhere.
Ooh, nothing at all anywhere ever?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's a fairly radical take, but all right. I hear ya. Hey, look. It's roaches. All right. So, guess what's good against roaches? Banshees are really good against roaches. Where is my freedom of speech? This is America. This is not America.
This is a Korean streaming site, yeah. Yeah, no, it's just like, I don't know. Because, like, when you hear that, like, they monitor voice chat now in, like, Call of Duty, and if you tell someone they suck, you get banned.
Yeah.
It's like, that's, like, not in the spirit of Call of Duty. Like, trash talk is part of it.
Yeah. I mean, you can go too far with it, I think, but I don't think
you
someone they
absolutely
suck is
can.
going too far with it.
At the same time, the internet is an infinitely sized space, so if people are saying things you don't want to be involved in, just mute your chat or whatever and
Yeah, it does seem like
get
that's
on
an
with
option more often than not. Yeah.
It's now Shin's turn to take his hate out on some rocks. Creep is being pushed back by Kier. That's quite nice if he wants to go for a drop from that location later on. A queen gets yeeted.
Woo! Nice move. KDA charge overpowered. Roaches get in.
Oh, the queen gets her revenge, though.
Yeah. You guys are stuck in here now. You're all going to die. They didn't want to be YOLO Hellions, but they are. So 8 drones down for like what? 10? Ugh. 10 Hellions and a Reaper?
Yeah, that is nice that Shin was able to go for that move. Quick thinking to block those Hellions in.
Very cool.
The Zerg has now got a great number of roaches out. He's firing up lots of lings behind this, though, so this could be something that is used aggressively. He's also just starting speed, so Shin was being one of those Zergs that delays ling speed this game.
Ah, Banshees. Glassest of cannons. They hit hard, man, but oof.
Nope. Those queens got to be careful running into some stim marines.
There's a hole in them mineral patches. They can get right on through.
Ravagers are on the way, so Shin is gearing up to what I think is going to be a big attack. As I say that, though, he also starts up a hive, so I don't think he knows what he wants to do in this situation. There you go,
Yeah,
9 drones on the way.
Roach Ravager for now.
Still no 5th from the Zerg yet. But okay, he is moving forward, getting aggressive. Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers charging towards Cure, who has a bunker. He's got 2 tanks. The bunker gets Corrosive Bile. Lots of Lings are dying, buffering for this. And SHIN has to turn around.
Roaches. I mean, he's got that +1 armor, which is awesome for the Roaches and the Ravagers. Working on a +2 Carapace is also very nice. Adding Banelings makes me feel better about this, too. So, we do sometimes see certain players just go Roach Ravager with no Banes, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about this one. But as you add a couple Banes and things go great. But this attack, oh my gosh, they're going to get the hatch.
Oh, no.
Hatch. Easy.
And
see how slow these Roaches and Ravagers are?
It's true.
You cannot respond to the battle fast enough, and then you show up and they pick up and then get out of there. You got to replace your hatch. Lings and Banelings with speed would have gotten there in time without a doubt.
Yeah, and this just really hurts for SHIN. Like, he didn't even have a 5th started. He does have Vipers on the way, which is cool because it can punish Terrans.
You know, look at these Roaches just melt. What's up, Psychons? Thanks for liking the stream. Diak says there's another tournament happening right now, and SHIN is live versus Max Pax.
I can guarantee you that is not the case.
Someone telling you it's live, and they're lying, because this is 100% live.
What tournament is that?
Baneling's not getting connections. Beautiful target firing from Cure with like 8 Marines. Beautiful, beautiful job there.
Are you by any chance watching the ESL 24/7 stream, my dude?
Ooh, yeah. That's a good question, because that's a live stream, but it's a rebroadcast.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, Kindness Plating's getting fired up. Might see some Ultralisks here.
It's going to be hard to afford Ultras without a 4th base, though.
Uh-huh. He's got 100 gas. It's not a lot.
It's making Banelings, doesn't even want to wait for an Ultra to get out, which is probably the right move, because Kira is a killer. The Terran does just have his 4th base on the way, but like, oh, that is... Okay, there's the 4th base getting reestablished in a safer space. There is 2 Vipers to help SHIN potentially take a good trade, making this Roach Ravager Baneling composition a little better. Blinding Clouds on some of the tanks. He gets most of them, but the Bio kites back so perfectly for Cure, just minimizing all the damage from those Banelings. And then it's just on those Roaches and Ravagers to try and make a miracle happen. Corrosive Biles do give the Terran pause for a second. 2 Ultras are on the way.
Corrosive Bile, 1 hit on a siege tank, not enough to kill it, I suppose.
More Lings are being added in. SHIN is barely holding on for now, but he is holding on. The Corrosive Bile buying time really is important. Supplies are a little misleading, as the Terran does have 12 medivacs, but they definitely do help out. The first Ultra is about to pop out. SHIN moves forward with one of those Vipers re-energized, lands a nice Blinding Cloud, so he does force the Terran back. Good Corrosive Bile, kills off like 4 medivacs.
And gets a tank, too. Awesome stuff. So SHIN holding here better than I thought he would. Adding the tier 3 Ultras is feeling pretty good. Anabolic Synthesis finishing up shortly. Vipers with that Blinding Cloud is really important stuff. The Vikings are like, wait, you don't have stuff that shoots up, right? We can totally just kill those Vipers, right? Engaging on in. Ultras taking a lot of the damage. Letting the Banelings get on in. Letting the Ravagers get on in. Corrosive Bile taking a tank down. Ultras very low on HP. They die, but they allowed this push to get Cure off the front doorstep, at least temporarily.
Yeah, that was really nice for SHIN. He's been able to take these okay fights despite not having the best start to the game. He does now have a 5th base trying to get established in the bottom left. However, Cure is on it and is going to be dropping that location. If he can knock the Zerg back down to 4 bases, that will really put things in his favor in the long run. And oh, he's actually just going towards this... Oh, pardon me, that's the 5th base building. He's actually going towards the 4th base. Few Banelings do give the Bio a moment's pause. The Bio is very stimmed as some reinforcements do come in to clean this up. I do like this from SHIN, as having just like one Ultra and some Lings to defend against drops is very effective for Zerg.
100%. Yeah, sensor tower is up from Cure 2, just so he knows when attacks are on the way. He's going to go ahead and mine these minerals, the gold ones on the right side, which is cool.
Liberators and Ghosts getting added in for the Terran. I think Kier realizes that SHIN is a little bit out of position with his reinforcements, and he forces a fight, picks off one of the critical Ultralisk. There's 3 more on the way, but they take ages to build.
They do, but Ling's getting a nice surround on the Marauders there. Crossbiles trying to get shots off here on stationary targets. No, Marauders just cannot stand. Crossbiles dodged temporarily, but man, Cure's up 96 to 66 army supply. Ultras getting hit on the backside, just falling, and Cure takes the game, going up 3-2-1.